Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel, and it's a City present today. Not a greatest one, is it? We're how many games into the new season? Our second Premier League game, and we're a bit depressed already. So there we go. But hey, I'll try and stay positive. But you can't always be. I'm not going to be positive for the sake of it. You know me, I got enough stick for saying we wouldn't win the league this season, so there you go. I'm not going to say I told you so, because we've only played 2 games. There's plenty, as Pep would say, there's still 108 points to play for, so that's all we can worry about. Yep, so here we go. City versus Leicester City, Game 2 of the Premier League, 27th September 2020, 4:30 PM kickoff at the Etihad. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notification when all these little vlogs are coming out. And obviously I do the City past as well, City history stuff, so please check the playlists. Yeah, and please, if you like it, enjoy it, please. It's great to have views, but thumbs ups are always nice as well. It takes a split second to stick that thumb up on, doesn't it? That'd be absolutely fantastic. Right, I'm back in my normal surroundings. If you watched my last couple of vlogs, I have been away. I was supposed to be away today, actually, but the weather was so bad where we were. We just came back yesterday, so I was glad because I wanted to watch this at home. And it's not as bad when you watch it. If I'd been away watching this, I would have been really on a downer. So I'm only on a sort of half a downer at the moment after watching that. Yeah, so City against Leicester. 7 changes to the Bournemouth game from City's point of view, which is not a surprise, is it? And starting 11, Ederson, Walker, Garcia. I mean, Garcia shouldn't be playing for me. I don't know why he's playing. He had a good first half today, but I'm not going to criticise the lad. But obviously, he doesn't want to be a City player. I wouldn't have him in the team. I'd rather play an under-18 lad in that position if it came to the crunch. Ake, Mendy, Rodrigo, Fernandinho as the captain. De Bruyne, Mahrez, Sterling, and Foden on the bench. Okay bench. Stefan, Zinchenko, Laporte, Torres, Delap, Doyle, and Palmer. So there we go. And a new phrase, wasn't it? Mr. John Stones again. He's not fit. Well, there's no surprise, is it? I mean, I have commented on John Stones that it's just utterly pointless. You can't give him a run of game because he always gets injured. I mean, I think Pep actually said he's got some niggles. He's not fit, but you know, it's just becoming a waste of time with John Stones. It's such a shame. I mean, obviously he's going to be one of those players that is never fit, and if we can offload and get some money for him, please do so, because it's just absolutely pointless having him there, isn't it? Referee Michael Oliver, yeah, I'll sort of sum his game up at the end. Sterling obviously had a new hairstyle, reminded me I needed to get some new pan scourers as well when I saw Raheem Sterling's hairstyle, but I mean, I can't say anything, can I? But yeah, I must admit, I'll have to go. I'll put those pan scourers on my shopping list now after seeing Raheem Sterling. Right, the match highlights and lowlights. We'll scoot through the lowlights in the second half, obviously, but let's have a look at the match highlights. The highlights, right, 3 minutes. We didn't have to wait long, did we? Leicester failed to clear a corner, and it fell to Mahrez on his right foot on the edge of the box, and it was like an arrow, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start for Mahrez, could you? To build on and actually go on and torment his old team. But, you know, there you go. We saw what happened, didn't we? What a fantastic goal by Mahrez. We can't complain about that. 12 minutes, yes, that I've always comment, don't I, about Mr. Rodrigo. Either for every goal he'll score from distance, as he did against Burnley last season, he'll send them soaring over the bar wide, he'll send his headers wide, etc. And we got one of them after 12 minutes. We had a Rodri special high and over the bar. 2 points, was it 2 points for Wigan, we used to say in the old days? 16 minutes. Sterling should have done a lot better. A weak shot after some aggression from Day. KDB just kept bundling in, didn't he, and won the ball. And a good little ball from Mahrez, actually, so all credit to Mahrez. But Sterling's tame effort just went virtually straight at Schmeichel, who's a bit pathetic. Fernandinho had a great chance with a header from another perfect KDB cross, but he just seemed to get a little bit ahead of the ball, and he just didn't quite get any real power on it. And again, even if it had been sort of a foot either side of Schmeichel, it might have been a goal. But again, it was straight at Schmeichel, who easily saved it. 26 minutes. Yeah, Leicester finally woke up. They had a simple break, and this is where it's. I mean, this is exactly the sort of play that I thought Rodgers would have Leicester doing, where it was just a simple break where they were getting men, finding spaces behind our defenders. But fortunately, they did actually mess it up just before they actually had a go at Ederson. So, but that was a sort of hint of what was to come, unfortunately. 34-minute Rodri had the ball in the net of a header, but he was about half the Etihad pitch offside, I think, when he, again from a KDB quality free kick. But Rodri didn't time his run very well. He was a good, all right, a couple of yards, not half the pitch. I'm exaggerating just a little bit there. Yeah, and then 35 minutes. This is where it all started to go wrong for City, wasn't it? A penalty and an equaliser for Leicester. Walker. In all fairness, Walker did have his back to the player, to Vardy. He actually was trying to look up at Vardy wasn't his man. He just literally turned around and Vardy was there. And rather than thinking, oh well, there's not much I can do, he sort of bundled a bit of a coming together. But there's no way that's not going to be a penalty. And yeah, and you can always expect Mr. Vardy to put the penalty away. And a superb penalty, a fantastic. No, not a goalie in the world would have saved that. Even me at my prime, I wouldn't have saved that one. So that was 1-1, and all the good work was undone. We didn't build on our lead, did we? So we looked comfortable for most of the game. We had lots of possession, and they went in at half-time, Leicester, and to be honest with you, they didn't particularly deserve it, but I think Brendan Rodgers stayed to his game plan, even though he went a goal behind after 3 minutes. He thought, no, we've come here to do a job, and we'll carry on doing that job. So he would have been really happy at half-time at 1-1. I mean, we'll run through this second half very quickly. A very, very painful second half, wasn't it? On 50 minutes, we had Delap on for a very disgruntled Fernandinho. A bit more on that in a moment. 51 minutes, we had a poor Mahrez effort this time. He sort of scuffed it with his left foot wide when he should have at least hit the target. 53 minutes, a simple Leicester move down the right, flicked in. What an absolute superb, just sort of flicked it like a back-heel flick from Vardy, but Ederson absolutely no chance. So it's 2-1 for Leicester. And if City's heads weren't down, they were sort of going down at that. Garcia's then, only 3 minutes later, it was his turn to give a penalty away. Again, the Leicester attackers were getting in behind the City defence and causing us all sorts of problems. Again, it was a coming together. Again, it looked very clumsy. And Garcia just looked very slow. And he is slow. This is why I don't think he should be playing for City. I think we should take as much as we can get for him and get rid, because he's far too slow. I've never been overly impressed with his pace. And he played really well the first half today. I thought he did absolutely superb. But the trouble is, he's gonna do these things. You know, he's gonna have a couple of times in the game where he'll get left by an attacker and will be a goal down, or in this case, another penalty down. So yeah, it was Garcia's turn to give a penalty away. And again, Vardy, opposite corner, superb penalty right in the corner. You're not getting to that, no matter who you are. 60th minute, Aki was booked. I mean, the commentator said it was to me, it was a sort of, the ball was knee high and he went studs in first. So I suppose in this day and age, it's classed as a foul, but he just sort of won the ball and he wasn't exactly chest high or anything. It was knee high, but there you go. He was the only booking anyway of the day, Aki. 63 minutes, a big, I've never thought I'd say this actually for the last couple of seasons, a big City centre forward has a header that just hits the top of the bar. Yeah, it was Delap's header. Was the only real thing he had, real half chance he had. It wasn't a full chance. It was never going in. I think Schmeichel, if it had been lower, probably would have covered it anyway. But it's nice to see a big City centre forward getting a head on the ball, and unfortunately it just went onto the bar and over, unfortunately for us. 64 minutes, Torres on Foden off. I couldn't see the point. Attacking wise, we weren't doing much. I wasn't 100% sure what Torres would do, but based on what I've already seen, which isn't much obviously, but we were asking a lot of Torres in that circumstance, and he sort of faded, didn't he? A bit more of him in the player ratings. And then 76 minutes, Mr. Maddison was given the freedom of the Etihad, wasn't he? And just allowed to stroll about 10 yards and then just wonderfully blasted it in from 25 yards. Again, Ederson, no chance whatsoever. 76 minutes that was. 4-1 for Leicester. If it wasn't all over at 2-1 and 3-1, it was certainly all over at 4-1. But a little hope for City. Nathan Affey comes up and we score from a corner, which don't happen too often, do they? So we make it 4-2. The commentators are saying, is there a fight back there? I think, no, not really. Perhaps 3 seasons ago we may have thought it. I remember, went to Anfield and we got all giddy, didn't we, when we pulled a goal back when we were 3-0 down there. But was it 3-0 forward? It could have been 4-1 down or something. We pulled it back, didn't we? But this isn't the same City. We never looked as though we'd go on from there and do anything or even get another consolation goal. But it's a great header by Aki. and the assist from Mahrez. So again, that was possibly one of the only things he did after the first couple of things he did in the first half. 86 minutes, yes. Well, Mendy didn't want to be left out, did he, Mendy? He didn't want to be left out of all the fun, so it was his turn to give another dodgy penalty. Obviously, the forward got in behind the City defence again, and it was a clipping of feet. But again, you can't blame Oliver. He's going to give those, and we'd be upset if we didn't get those as penalties. So no choice really. And again, I'm not sure who the Leicester player was who scored the penalty. Obviously, Vardy'd gone off by them. But not sure who the Leicester guy who scored. But I'm a City fan. I'm not overly that bothered anyway. So that was Leicester 5, Manchester City 2. Despondency all round. I'd give up at 3-1, to be honest with you. I was struggling at 2-1. I'd give up at 3-1. We've seen this before, haven't we? We've seen this last season. We're just possession wise. We'll go through the stats in a minute. Oliver was okay. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Brief summing up of the game. City, I mean, if you think about it, last year after 2 league games, the cracks were showing, weren't they? We played that Tottenham game, and even though we drew, it was like the beginning of a bit of a struggle for City, and the cracks were beginning to show just 2 games in. Unfortunately, this season, after 2 games in, those cracks are suddenly looking like canyons, aren't they? When you had all the injury problems we've got, etc., and the fact we've not sort of got our targets in the transfer market yet, although hopefully one will be on his way, but he's not going to solve these problems that we saw on the pitch today. I'm sure he's not. A game that, for the most part, certainly when we went 2-1 and 3-1 down, felt like a friendly game. City just failing to build on that great start, and obviously we're always vulnerable to teams like Leicester City, who have a simple. Let's face it, they have a simple game plan. These teams, and it was the same last year. Even Rodgers couldn't sort of believe how well this game plan was going to work. We're a bit of a shambles, aren't we? Let's face it, we're a bit of a shambles defensively. Creativity-wise, we've got KDB, haven't we? And that's about it at the moment. Foden had a pretty dire game. I mean, we've got to miss people like Silva, and even a 60% Bernardo perhaps could have helped us create a little bit more, but I'd say it's KDB and that's it at the moment, isn't it? Not everyone's sort of feeding off his wavelength either. Walker looked like a quality player. He must have saved City's bacon 3 or 4 times with his pace, but then again, he looks like an utter buffoon in the next minute when he, does something stupid. So undoes all his good work by doing something silly. Leadership on the pitch is absolutely non-existent. It has been. But when things are going well, it doesn't really matter, does it? But when things aren't going well, of course it matters. And that's, hopefully, we may have that sorted in the very near future if the rumours are correct about a new centre-half that's coming who seems to be a bit of a leader. Obviously, whether he'll be made captain is another matter, but as long as he leads that defence. But would he have been the difference today? I don't know. Who knows today? It was just one of those games, wasn't it? It shows that we had no pre-season virtually. We've got injury problems. Pep looks tired to me, and his tried and trusted guys, the Gundoans of this world, are not available for him anymore, so he can't even turn to his tried and trusted anymore. So we're already fighting little fires, aren't we? Even before the international break, even before we played 3 league games, we're already fighting fires at City, which is a shame. Leicester, well, they have to be happy, don't they? I think Leicester have to be happy. They were organised and patient. And let's face it, last season, that's all you needed to get something against City. And Leicester know that, and every team knows that. If you're organised and patient, and you've got half decent players, and Leicester have got something better than half decent players, they've got some really good players, then you don't have to worry too much against City. As long as you're organised and patient, you'll get something. And today, that showed. And obviously in spades, didn't it? They didn't just get something, they absolutely hammered City. They absolutely embarrassed City. I was embarrassed to watch it, to be honest with you. So Leicester, yeah, they're that good. Well, the top of the league at the moment. That leaves them top. We're down in 13th. So I'm not going to show you my shoot league ladders today. I'm not in the mood to put them up. I'll do them in another couple of weeks. I'm not even going to bother wasting my time doing them. They're too depressing at the moment. So, yeah, Leicester, I think top 6 definitely. Again, are they good enough for top 4? Well, it depends how we play, doesn't it? If we carry on performing like this, it'll take our top 4 spot. But it's early days. I'm sure we will improve. We've got players to come back, and the transfer window's not shut yet. I'm going to be positive. I get told off for being too negative, and my usual glass half full stance. Yeah, the match stats. Shots for City, 16-5 on target, and it says it all for Leicester. 7 shots, 7 on target. There you go, that just about sums that up, doesn't it? Possession, 73% for City, 27 for Leicester. Passes, 670 by City, not the most by any means. Only 255 by Leicester. Accuracy, City, 90%. Leicester, 73%. Fouls, City committed 13 fouls. That's good. We're chasing back all the time, aren't we? We panic, don't we? As soon as they get behind us, we start panicking. We give fouls away. So you had 13 fouls. Leicester only did 8 fouls. They had 3 corners each, and we scored off a corner. So let's be happy. There's a positive that we can take from that. So let's have a look at the player ratings. Today we've got Simon Bukowski in charge for the Manchester Evening News. Ederson, hard to miss in his bright pink shirt and made sure his presence extended beyond the box. Could do nothing with the penalties or the Vardy improvisation. So he's giving 5. I think 5's a low mark. I'm going to give 6 as my basic today. I'm going to give 6 to Ederson. I don't think he could do much about any of the goals. He was okay. So I'm going to give him the best. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to give him 6. Walker. His pace had been important in quelling Leicester counter, yet there was no defending his foul on Vardy in the box to let Leicester level the score. It was unfortunate that no teammates gambled any of his balls into the box. Yeah, he's only give Walker 5. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 5.5. He did a lot of good things, but as I said, he did 1 or 2 bad things that cost us, unfortunately. I'll give him a 5.5. Garcia, City's best defender. He took responsibility for organising the back line despite being junior to Hackett in years, and also made important interceptions to deny Barnes and Justin when the defence was exposed. Gave the second penalty away, albeit one very much won by the canny Vardy. Stepped off for Maddison's goal, but he still give him a 6. I've only give Garcia 5.5. I thought he had a really good first half. Second half, I think he undone everything he did in the first half, and I'm just going to give him a 5.5. Ake, his side with Mendy was regularly attacked, and Castagna was allowed too much time and space for the second goal. A nice header to add a consolation for a man that isn't the tallest defender, though. He's given 5. I thought Ake played really well today. I thought he was one of our better players with KDB. I'm going to give him 6.5. I thought he played brilliant. I don't think he did that much wrong. I don't think he got a lot of help from Mendy, that's for sure, at times when he perhaps needed it. Mendy, Leicester targeted Mendy, were rewarded with opportunities. Apparently, Vardy was saying they targeted Rodri, so I don't know where they get that from. It isn't easy dealing with the pace of Barnes and Vardy, but Mendy's decision-making could still have been better, and he failed to make inroads going forward. He's given 3. Simon's only giving Mendy 3. I'm going to give him 4.5, which is a much better, but I think 3 is a bit harsh. He was okay going forward, but I do worry about, what is the point of having Mendy and Walker zooming, because none of the crosses lead to anything. I just don't see the point. Rodri regularly found on the ball, but responsible for City's tempo that wasn't quick enough as the game went on. The defence was too easily exposed. He's only going to give Rodri 4, Simon. I'll give Rodri 4 as well. I thought he was terrible. I hardly noticed the guy today, to be honest with you. Fernandinho, another to start brightly before being bypassed. He didn't take long after he left the pitch before City conceded twice. Yeah, he's give Fern a 6. I'm going to give Fern a 6 as well. I think he was unlucky to be pulled. He'd had quite a good first half, and they say it all went to cock, didn't it, when he actually was taken off. KDB, the most creative, and wasn't beaten by any of his teammates for work rate, but the lack of a natural striker didn't help his dangerous crosses into the box. Yeah, he's giving him 7. Yeah, I'm going to give KDB a 6.5, equal with Ake, because he did work hard, but perhaps we needed him to step up and score as well, just to do a little bit more. I know that sounds a bit daft when he's creating everything, but I just felt he could have done just a touch more, but 6.5, better than the average, so I'm going to go with that. Mahrez, a sumptuous whack on his weaker foot to open the scoring, then very little after that. He will know he could have done better in the run-up to the penalty. Yeah, I mean, he's given Mahrez a 6. I think he's been quite generous. He did score a goal, but I'm sorry, he did struggle after that, and he didn't really take the game by the scruff of the neck, which the fact he must have been confident after that goal, he should have done, really. So I'll give him a 5.5. Foden, easily his poorest performance of the 3 in the last week, gave the ball away in his own half too many occasions, even if his recovery work usually meant it wasn't punished, and failed to create anything meaningful. He's given Foden a 5. I'm just going to give Foden a 4.5. This is sort of proving that, he can't play game in, game out. He's just, obviously, he still needs that little break as well, so he was pretty ineffective today. I wasn't overly impressed at all. Sterling, a very quiet game for Sterling, who couldn't muster anything better than a few half chances against Schmeichel. A thankless task perhaps, but an unfamiliar striking role, although he should know what to expect from De Bruyne. He's giving 5. I give Sterling 4.5. I thought he was awful today, to be honest with you. I thought it was terrible. I thought he didn't offer anything. Very, very poor. Delap, obviously the subs, Delap for Fernandinho on 51, so he got almost 40 minutes, hit the top of the bar with a header, but was helpless as the team behind him collapsed. Yeah, so he's give Delap 6. I'm going to give him 6 as well. I don't think he got the service in it, and he obviously was given a thankless task. And the same for Torres, really. But the thing with Torres is I wouldn't mind he's just seen a couple of little runs, something from Torres. I mean, Simon Pekowski commented he failed to make a difference. He certainly did fail to make a difference. Not that I did expect him to make a difference when he came on, to be honest with you, the way we were playing. But I give him 5.5. I was a little bit more generous, but I still thought, I wouldn't mind it seeing just one or two nice touches from Torres, and we've seen 2 little bit parts so far, and it's not looked overly impressive, has he? I mean, in the cup he was sort of really non-existent. Today I wouldn't mind seeing a run or two. Even his mate Bernardo, when he first came to City, you saw glimpses, didn't you? We're not actually seeing anything with Torres just yet. But then he's coming into a bit of a struggling team, is it? A bit of psychologically, we're struggling a little bit as well. Not just a matter of football on the pitch, because we had a great win against Wolves, didn't we? But there is something a little bit lacking. City man of the match, yeah, I'm going to give it Aki. Aki just about from KDB. I was going to give it KDB, but we'll get a bit bored with that, don't we? So I scored. They are joint man of the matches, Real City man of the matches, but I'll give it Aki just to, because KDB's got far too many in his cabinet, hasn't he? Pep watching his last season, as you know, as far as I put a little bracket here, his last half season perhaps he'll go before even the season's halfway through. Who knows? I don't think he'll be pushed. I don't think we'll push him. I think he'll go of his own accord. He's said all along if he thinks he can't get any more out of this team. He was a bit despondent today, but I think we all were. I think we all echoed how he looked in the technical box today. And he certainly couldn't read any much in his body language, because obviously, as I say, he was down with the rest of us. But there's a little bit of a fracas with Fernandinho, which is a bit of a worry. I believe they've had a bit of a falling out by the looks of it, and I don't think he shook his hand when he went off. So there are problems there, and that sort of highlights it, doesn't it? If your main professional is falling out with the manager, that shows there are some deeper problems that perhaps we're not aware of. Brought a sub on 50 minutes is a positive in my opinion. I like him doing it, but really, did we have the ambition to give Delap and then Torres Leicester a chance? I don't think we did. I think they were just token substitutions by Pep just to make it look and try and change things up. I don't think we had the quality on the bench to make any real difference to that game whatsoever once it was going, and Pep couldn't gee up the players on the pitch to do anything different. So very, very depressing. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. Just a little look at the quirky stats. Not the greatest quirky stats today from a positive point of view. Some interesting ones though. At Stat City, Fernandinho was making his 316th appearance for City today in all competitions, drawing level with Yaya Toure in 32nd place in the all-time appearance makers for City. Raheem Sterling was making his 246th appearance for City, overtaking the amount Makerich has made for the club at 245. A worrying pre-game stat which came back to bite us, and this was put out pre-game, and I don't like these things. Benjamin Mendy's making his 25th appearance for Man City at the Etihad Stadium in all competitions. The defender has not lost any of his previous 24 home appearances for the club. 122, drawn 2. Those stats should never come out before a game. Sorry, but obviously at Stat City, please, if you City fans, don't after the game put it out. Don't do it before the game. This is the first time Man City have conceded 5 goals in a single game at the Etihad Stadium in all competitions. Nathan Aki is the 101st different player to score a goal for Manchester City at the Etihad. At Optajoe, so their stats guys, for the first time in 686 games as a manager, Pep has seen his side concede 5 goals. It's also the first time in 438 games at the Etihad that Manchester City have shipped 5 goals in any competition. Leicester City have become the first side in Premier League history to score 3 goals from a penalty spot in a single game. Depressing that, isn't it? Only Raheem with 19 has won more penalties than Jamie Vardy on 18 in Premier League history. So is that a good start or a bad start? I'm not too sure. Making his 200th Premier League appearance today, Riyad Mahrez has scored his 58th goal in the division. At 3 minutes and 11 seconds, it was the earliest of his 58 such strikes. Shame he didn't add to it. So there you go, there's your quirky stats for today. Just a quick look at what the newspapers are saying. There's obviously the little headlines after the game finished. I'm sort of recording this a little bit quicker than I normally would. Manchester Evening News, Blues suffer meltdown after Riyad Mahrez goal. The Independent, shock at Manchester City as Jamie Vardy makes most of the host's brittle backline to send Leicester City top. And The Guardian, the ruthless Jamie Vardy, he does like scoring against us, doesn't he? Scored a hat-trick as Leicester came from behind to humiliate a Manchester City defence that conceded 3 penalties. There you go. So, I don't think there's much more to say. I've been looking at some of the live vlogs from some of the City fans, and yeah, we've got to try and stay positive, haven't we? But we had too many of these days last season, and to me, we're going to have a few more this season. And how it will pan out for City, Pep and us, I don't know. But yeah, my glass is certainly half full at the moment. It's certainly, half empty at the moment. It's certainly not half full. But hey, we've got Burnley Leeds coming up, so it could be half full by the end of the week. Who knows? So thanks for joining me anyway. I'll be back with a review of that said Burnley game, the Carabao Cup game, on Tuesday. So I'll be putting it out on Tuesday the 29th of September. So please remember, if you push that subscribe button and push the notifications, you'll be known about that. But please come back and join me for that. That'll be absolutely fantastic. Please also check out my little Citizen channel, City Pass vlogs as well. I've just put one out which includes a recent look back at 28th of September 1977, which featured European second leg trip to Poland for an important UEFA Cup game. So I'll just have a quick look back at that with some little personal things as well. Some guy I know that I didn't go myself to Poland, but someone very close to me went. So some personal observations on there as well. So please check my City Pass stuff as well. That'd be fantastic. And please on screen just check my links for friend or follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I do check every couple of days and friend and follow everyone back. So if you're after some more followers or friends, please do that. And if you can check out my little website, moviegamenostalgia.com, for old rare DVDs. It's my day job, movie posters from the 90s and 2000 board games. That'd be fantastic. And please, if you are into movies and TV dramas and you enjoy a movie quiz here and there, please check out my playlist as well for my Bernard's film and TV stuff. So have a look on there for that as well if you're into your movies and TV. That'd be fantastic. Right, on to Burnley. Well, that's what we need, isn't it? Two young teams. It'll be interesting, won't it? I'm sure it's going to be 2 young teams, but more of that in my preview. We do face, obviously, over the coming days, weeks, months perhaps, a stern test, not just as a team, not just as fans, but as everything out. I mean, I'm already tired. I'm tired out now. Never mind. We've only just started the season. I feel as though it's the season's end, and it's only just started. It's only just begun. I think there's a song in there, isn't there, somewhere? Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, what we're going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one, or the rest of your evening. We're watching this at night. Look after yourself. Look after your friends. Look after your family. More importantly, look after each other. And I'll hopefully see you again on my Citizen channel with a City past or present very soon. Bird is saying, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.